If this message reaches you, it is meant for you. For anyone seeking inner peace today, you are not the mind. Listen. Most people believe they want peace, stillness, and truth. But what they do not realize is that silence threatens the very identity they have spent a lifetime building. This is why silence feels uncomfortable, unsettling, or even frightening to so many people. Not because silence is empty, but because silence removes the familiar noise that tells the mind who it thinks it is. When the noise fades, the false self has nowhere to hide. From the moment we are young, we are taught to stay busy, stay productive, stay identified. Your thoughts become your companion. Your stories become your identity. Your struggles become proof that you exist. So when silence appears, the mind feels as though it is disappearing. And the mind will do anything to survive, including resisting the very peace it longs for. You see this resistance in everyday life. A man retires after 40 years of work and suddenly finds himself restless, irritated, unable to sit still. Nothing is wrong with his life, but something feels unbearable. What he is experiencing is not boredom. It is the absence of distraction. Without schedules, deadlines, and pressure, the mind is exposed. And because the mind has never learned to rest, it interprets stillness as danger. A woman sits alone in her house in the evening, the television turned off for the first time in hours. Within minutes, her thoughts grow loud. Memories surface. Regrets replay. Fears appear. She reaches for her phone, not because she needs information, but because silence is revealing what she has been avoiding. This is not weakness. This is conditioning. The mind has been trained to fear stillness because stillness dissolves the false sense of control. Silence removes the story you tell about yourself. And without that story, the mind feels naked. That is why people often say, "I can't meditate," or "I can't sit quietly," or "my mind is too busy." What they are really saying is, "I am afraid of what will remain when my thoughts stop." But what remains is not emptiness. What remains is presence, and presence does not judge, condemn, or demand. Presence simply is. This is why moments of enforced silence are often the moments where awakening begins. In hospitals, in grief, in exhaustion, in illness, in loss. When life takes away the ability to distract, something deeper has space to emerge. A man recovering from surgery lies awake at night, unable to sleep, the room quiet, the world paused. At first, his thoughts race. Then they slow. Then something else takes over, a sense of being held by life itself. Nothing has been fixed, but fear loosens. This is not coincidence. This is consciousness reclaiming its place. The mind resists silence because silence exposes the illusion that you are separate, broken, or incomplete. The noise of thought keeps that illusion alive. Silence dissolves it. That is why Christ was born in silence. Not because silence is sacred, but because silence is honest. In silence, the false self cannot perform. Only truth remains. You may have noticed brief moments of this without realizing it. Watching a sunset and forgetting yourself. Sitting quietly with a sleeping grandchild. standing alone early in the morning when the world has not yet woken up. In those moments, you are not thinking about your problems, your past, or your future. And yet, you feel whole. That wholeness is not created by effort. It is revealed when resistance stops. The resistance to silence often hides behind good intentions. People say they are too busy, too tired, too distracted. But beneath that is a subtle fear: if I stop, I will feel what I have been avoiding. And what has been avoided is not sin or failure. It is unresolved pain, unexpressed grief, and unmet longing. Silence does not punish you with these things. Silence allows them to pass through and dissolve. This is why Christmas can feel strangely uncomfortable for some people. The season naturally invites reflection, slowing down, and inward attention. And for a mind that survives on noise, that invitation feels threatening. So the world compensates with louder music, brighter lights, more activity. But the original invitation remains unchanged. Be still, not to become holy, but to see clearly. You do not need to force yourself into silence. You do not need to discipline the mind. Simply notice when you reach for noise automatically. Notice the urge to distract. Notice the discomfort without judging it. That noticing itself is awareness. And awareness does not resist. Awareness welcomes. When silence is allowed, something remarkable happens. The mind stops trying to fix life. Fear loosens. The body relaxes. And a quiet intelligence begins to guide you, not through words, but through clarity. This is what the mystics pointed to when they spoke of divine presence, not a voice from the sky, but a stillness that knows. The birth of Christ within you is not dramatic. It is subtle. It does not announce itself. It does not demand belief. It simply replaces fear with peace, resistance with acceptance, striving with rest. Life continues, but you are no longer fighting it. Most people resist silence without knowing it because silence ends the search. And the search has become familiar. But when the search ends, what remains is not emptiness. What remains is truth. If this message feels unsettling, let it be. Truth often feels unfamiliar at first. And if it feels strangely comforting, that is not accidental either. It may be because you are no longer listening to the noise, but to what has always been present beneath it. Stay with this space, not to change yourself, not to become spiritual, but to stop resisting what already is. And remember, Christ is not born once a year. Christ is born every moment silence is allowed to speak.